Maybe that is a point to make. You can't settle the issue of whether or not we actually have free will. Whether or not we really have free will is, to me, one of those. I think that's a question that can never really be absolutely answered. Because sometimes it seems like we have free will, and other times it seems like we don't. I think it's a question that just can't be settled. I think it's interesting, though, that some people think that they can answer that. Oh, we do have free will. Because we feel like we have free will. Like we can just freely do whatever we want to. And then other times it seems like, no, we don't really have free will. It doesn't seem like we have free will. We don't appear to have this freedom to just go out and do things. So, do we really have it? Don't we have it? Is there free will? Is there not free will? Should we think about it that way? Should we not think of it? You know, how should we look at it? There's a lot of questions to ask. A lot of things to ponder. A lot of questions. You know, I tend to think that we'd have free will. I like to think it. And I kind of go more along with William James' way of thinking about things, of saying that it's not a question of whether or not it's actually true in some objective sense of it, but really looking at it in this way, which is objective, as good as you can get in science with this, is to ask yourself, what effect does the belief have on the believer? If you believe you have free will, I think that you're going to act different than if you believe you don't have free will. I think people who believe something act according to what it is they believe. You think you have free will, you're going to act like you have free will. You're going to act like you do have a choice. You can choose between this and that. You can choose to act good or act bad. Whereas if you think you don't have free will, you do whatever and you don't care. Because it's all going to be the same anyway. You just throw your hands up and you act like you don't have any free will. Like you're controlled by things around you. That you have no say in the issue. You act like that. And a lot of times I have, coworkers in situations who act that way. They act like they have no choice, no control. They have to go along with it. You don't really have to go along with stuff. But you believe it. You believe that you can't change things. You believe you have no free will. And you act according to what you believe. The concepts that we have in life really sometimes aren't things that can be answered in some absolute sense because they aren't really objective truths. They're really one's own subjective judgment about it and one's belief and then what one chooses to follow about it. I think this is the same thing with the idea about God. Is there a God? Is there not a God? Well, some people think that there's a God and they act accordingly. They act like God has certain qualities. God is watching everything you do. God cares about what you do. He cares that you eat, what kind of food you eat, what kind of sex you have and how you do it and how many times and, whether you do it by yourself or with a group, whatever. Some people think, and some people have a different concept of God. They may believe in God, but they think of God in a different way. And some people don't believe in God, but they think it's okay for other people to believe in God. And some people think that there is no God and they think it's not okay. Everybody has different ways of looking at it, and they act accordingly. Some people feel that there's their duty to try to stop other people from believing in God. And some people feel like it's okay if people believe. They're not going to try to stop them. The bottom line is this. We all have a certain way we look at things. We all have certain beliefs, certain ideals about things. And what really matters is, what effect does the belief and the ideals have on us? What effect does it have on our behavior, on our choices to act? Because in life, we always have choices. And that itself is a belief. I believe I have choices. But if you don't believe you have any free will, or that, if you believe that there's nothing but just fate, you really aren't choosing. Choosing is an illusion. So, it's kind of an interesting thing to look at it that way, to look at it from a philosophical perspective. That's all I have to say.